There we go. Hello, everyone. Get this going. Today we're doing more of the Quarry.
September 25th. Oh my god.
Oh, there we go. Or let's continue in the Quarry with Ella, Peach Booba T. Y'all know her, y'all love her. Good ass friend of mine. Let's see. I'm guessing she's in her thing. I'll probably just call her.
I'm so stupid. I don't know why. I
You're
was thinking we were gonna be in the fucking. Holy shit! Why are you so big? Hold on. What's going on here?
Oh yeah, no, I fucking another streamer I collabed with resized my thing. They didn't like my full body.
How dare they? Give it back.
I could change it. What's
they cut half of your head, bro.
They cut off my ears too, and I was sad about that.
Bro, how could they do that to you? Listen, if you need a resize, shit, I'll do it for you, man. Come on.
Yeah, well, I'll change it right now. No,
Yeah,
I fucking have
I
what's it called? I have Nimi making me 3 new chibis, so I'm gonna switch the chibis out on that and have those be my
awesome.
Discord thing. Yeah.
Let's go. Oh my god, wait, it looks like I'm stalking you. Holy shit. Okay. Hold on. Let me just awkwardly put this away. Alright.
Now today was super slow at work, and that's what makes it even more wild that I was so late getting home. He just wouldn't send me home.
Bro, what the fuck? He just likes you, that's why.
I was standing around half the time like, hello? Do you not do
What do you do though? Like at work?
I work takeout window, so I deal with annoying ass people and bag their food.
Oh, no fucking wonder. Yeah, no, he's gonna keep you there, bro. Shit.
We had someone else there too, though.
Nah, they don't give a fuck, bro. They keep you all there, and I don't care about the overtime. It's one thing I hate about food jobs. They'd rather you stay there till everything's spick and span, and then they finally let you go. Kind of dumb.
Yeah, there's only there's only 1 week of the month that they actually care about labor hours.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because that's kind of how my work is, except they actually care about the overtime because they're cheap like that. Because Walmart's cheap, you know. Sam's cheap, you know, like fucking Krusty Krab kind of shit. So like, they want us to be able to get everything done in a certain amount of time, which is really dumb. But most of us don't give a shit. We clock out at 9 and that's it. Like, we get the fuck out. We don't care. We don't care about nothing.
I wish I could clock out when my fucking schedule says to clock out.
Really? Oh, well, I forgot. It's a restaurant, right? So it's... Oh, hell yeah! Finally.
Got chill, Mike.
The boy is back. He's back, everyone.
No, it's because like technically my schedule today just said 3 to 8, but then 8 came. I was like, that unfortunately is not actually the time of return to sender in terms of me going home.
Yeah. Other than that, how's your day been going? It's been good.
Been good. Fucking bought my my first mattress that isn't a hand-me-down between me and my brothers.
Oh my god, tell me, mine's a hand-me-down also. But I also don't have a frame on it. It's literally just a mattress on the floor.
I'm excited to use it, but it's just in my hallway right now because the frame got delayed. So the frame's coming in tomorrow now, it says.
You said it's a queen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, queen, bro?
I'm 6 feet tall. I can't do twins.
Not even a twin extra large?
Isn't that just a queen with extra steps?
No, it's a twin, but it's just longer.
Your mom's a twin, but longer.
Yo, well, hold on. How'd you know? No, I'm just kidding.
Who spilled the beans?
Nah, bro. My mom has has a sister, but they're kind of. What is that? What is that? Is that blood? Hold on. Oh, that's not blood. I don't know what that is though.
I put you on the bottom right, so it looks like you're just like admiring Georgie.
Oh my god, bro! I bought me like a Gojo PNG, and it's the best.
I want to see.
It's,
That is the one. Oh, I just wanted the glasses. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm now your conscience. I'm a Gojo cat.
Hope you don't mind that I eat while we play this, because I brought home dinner from the restaurant too.
Bro, I'm eating nectarines right now.
That's such a random snack that I haven't had in a while. Now I want them. Fuck you.
They're so good, bro. Okay, hold on, wait. Remember screen share, bro.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh shit, let me plug my mouse back in. I hate that my computer is one USB too short of me having a good setup.
Do you know Piss? Remember Piss? My friend Piss? So he's gonna be playing the new Elder Rings DLC tomorrow. And he's like, you're gonna hold my hand, right? And it's not gonna be homo, right? And I'm like, yeah.
I started a randomizer run for Elden Ring on stream, so I'm gonna do that and then do the DLC after.
I did see you play that earlier.
It's fun because I placed it on my friend Ari, who was in chat. I just had her design the character, and now having her do all the choices.
Yeah.
There we go. New game, right?
Don't start it. Don't start it. No. What? Why?
I'm
Bro,
joking.
we haven't even finished the one that we already did. You guys can see it, right? I'm really sure. Oh yeah, you guys can. Fuck yeah. Alright. Alright. I'm ready.
This is bomb as fuck. I brought him some avocado rolls. Alright.
Thank you for the alert, Bearbot. I am now Mike's conscious.
Oh wait, speaking of which, let me take my meds.
I'm so glad that I have reminded you as your conscious, Mike.
I don't know if I ever told you, but I got put on ADHD meds officially.
Bro, imagine taking meds when you're ADHD. I don't take meds.
Okay, but see, that the difference is that you should.
I know, but I don't.
Sarah, we
Where
found out why
is
her
Chris
eye is
Hackett?
gone.
Shut up.
Wow, rude.
Guys, she murdered Kaylee.
You've been over this.
I said shut up! No, I'm just kidding.
I'm kind of down to go shut up. This man's been through a lot. Look at that.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. I said shut up!
I said shut up. You've done enough talking.
Okay, so you talk. Say what you gotta say. Ryan, maybe this
Wait,
is a
pause
bit
it,
much.
pause it.
I mean, just think about
Pause it, pause
everything
it.
that's happened.
Thank
Alright.
you for the raid, Milky! I just didn't wanna wait. Thank you for the raid, homie!
Welcome in,
How was your
Raiders.
stream? We're playing, well, my friend Mike over here, he's playing, the Quarry, and I'm just his conscience, so. I'm making sure he makes the worst decisions.
So far, we have killed people that probably should not have been killed.
What? No, everyone's alive. Oh, wait, hold on. When I told you not to shoot and you shot him.
But it's fine. We used black magic. In other words, to
I will
save.
I will never forget that, Mike. I will never forget
I
that you
didn't-
didn't listen to me.
I didn't trust the wrestling.
Hope you're going well too. It is. We're hanging out. We're having fun. I mean, we haven't even started. I'm already having a blast. All right, let's go.
I've been wanting to come
Alright,
back to
start.
this for a while now.
I know, bro. I honestly, like, I swear, if we like like hold it in a little longer, I probably would have forgotten the plot, dude.
Tonight.
Until dawn. No, I'm just kidding. You said you were her. I'm sorry. I thought they said you said you were a woman.
And she was a woman?
She was a woman. All this over a poem? Nah, I'm curious.
Because she's
Hold
a
up,
woman.
You said you heard a woman crying when you escaped?
Why? What do you know?
What's that eyeball, bro? The fuck?
It's the ghost story he told us about, right, Caitlin?
Remember her brother, or her boyfriend?
This isn't a
turned to
ghost
wolf and cut it
story.
out?
It's a creature feature.
Yeah.
It's really happening, and you're all in it. Your bracelet.
I don't like. Are we like almost done with it, right?
I think so for the ending we're going for.
Ow! Shoot you! No. What are you doing?
What are you doing, step bro?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to help.
I'm thinking for the bits, like you don't have to do that, homie.
Worst case scenario, this should give you a fighting chance.
And this will kill
What the
them?
fuck is that?
For good?
Yeah.
But what if it's Nick or someone?
You know what? I
Like
forgot
I
to take my
said,
bracelet.
Worst
Oh.
case scenario.
Ryan,
It's even
put that
more funny,
fucking thing
Mike.
down before you hurt someone.
I'm
Wait.
bipolar. I should be taking.
Wait, how does she just know how to make a shotgun shell?
Wait, she just made a shotgun shell?
Yeah,
So-
out of that girl's bracelet.
Come on.
What the fuck?
Where
bro?
does Chris Hackett live? When he's not
Wait,
at camp.
Is
I
that
mean.
really how it works?
Ma'am, do-it-yourself shotgun shells are banned on YouTube.
I wouldn't tell you. No. Should we be mean to her? I actually kind of like her.
I like her. She's been through a lot, honestly.
You're just a little guarded then, I guess. We don't have to be
What
mean to her
makes
now.
you think I know that?
You guys are counselors, right? You've spent the last 2 months here?
Wait,
He's
what? We
not
were
in the storm
counselors?
shelter. I'm clearly getting nowhere
I thought we
hunting
were
him in the
just
woods. I
kids
need a place to
camping.
start.
No, remember we waved the kids off in the school bus.
I think that spooky house behind these woods.
Oh.
Dude!
Sorry, they
What?
literally acted all like teenagers to me, so I didn't think about that.
I think they are teenagers. So I feel like that's accurate.
College.
Yeah.
Have you thought about not killing him?
I want to. Can we do that one?
Yes.
Have you thought about, you know, not killing him?
Not killing him?
I'm thinking about not killing you.
What?
Damn.
God, I forgot she was such a bitch, bro.
When the sun comes up, I am
In all
stuck
fairness, her
until the
boyfriend
next
was dumb
full
as
moon.
shit as rocks.
So is Max.
She's
So
been
is
through a lot.
anyone else he's bitten.
How is that our problem?
Why don't you ask your friends in the woods?
Don't forget about Nick, dude. Okay, any closer, we're gonna have to spray you two with cold water. Ryan, let's just get out of here.
I'm running out of time. If I can't find Chris Hackett, then a lot more people
Popcorn,
are
bro.
going to get hurt.
The fucking popcorn got me, bro.
I'm going with you.
What?
Yeah,
snack.
what they said.
Ah.
Okay, I got almonds to snack on. Chris has nothing to do with this.
Chris
No
has
way you're
everything to
going
do with
alone.
this. Yeah.
No way
Aggressive.
you're going alone.
There's no way I'm letting a murdering fugitive like you go anywhere near Chris on your own.
Wow, are you flirting with me?
Ew! Ew!
No.
Ew! Ew! No!
Fine,
No.
do whatever you want.
Woman, you
No.
still have a boyfriend. Not damn.
I'm
what
sorry,
happened to
and
you.
I'm gay?
He's bitten.
Excuse me? I have a boyfriend?
Everything's gonna be fine.
Sir, our
That cop car you
our
stole.
Asian crush is
Where
right
is it?
there.
Ditched in the
What?
lake.
I cannot believe
Why?
she just said that. I'm disgusted.
It
I
was
don't
a
like her now.
stolen cop car.
You're gonna have to try and fix the minivan. Get somewhere safe. How long do you have?
An hour or two? I don't know. It doesn't seem like an exact science.
Then we better get going.
Can we also mention that in the beginning we did like while her boyfriend was getting get scratched, we did almost dip him.
Are you sure this is the right way?
Also, when we were fixing the car, we just like
Sure.
walked off into
Yeah.
the woods.
Pretty or
Yeah,
definitely?
seriously.
What
Bro,
do I look
at
like?
how
The
she's
tour
looking
guide?
at him.
Inquisitive? I think you mean flirty.
Have you been there?
Come
I
here
don't
often,
know.
stranger.
Yeah, you come here often? Oh, thank you, Mustard, for the follow.
Inquisitive?
Yeah, I don't know. You decide, mate. I don't know what to do. I hate both of the answers.
I don't know why she'd be suspicious, honestly.
Yeah, I'm going Inquisitive.
Have you actually been there before?
I mean, no.
Wait, seriously?
I know as much as you do.
I only played in League lobbies. Valid.
How well do you know Chris Hackett?
Mr. H, pretty well.
Like you're pretty sure we're going the right way?
When I first came
Bitch,
to camp,
if
I
you
was
know
going through
something,
some
just tell us.
personal shit, and Mr. H helped me sort it out.
Yeah, I don't know why she's the
He's a good guy.
I don't know why she's the
You
one
don't
not
know him
trusting
like I
people
do.
when she's been like locked in a
Don't know
cell
him
for
at
2
all.
months.
Okay,
No,
jeez.
for real.
Teacher's pet.
Why are you like this?
Hello?
What is that look she's doing, man?
I, like... Did we just switch to her? Because...
I don't-
no one knows anybody? Or provoking?
Actually, it's the same thing. No one. I think reflective.
Reflective? Okay. She's
Look,
Samira? No,
I
she's
don't
uglier than
think
Samira.
anybody knows anybody, not really.
Well, I know Mr. H, and he never hurt any of us.
Well, I know for a fact he's not the good guy you think he is.
Oh my
All he
God,
does
he is an
try to
ass
help people.
kisser.
That's what his whole camp is all about, to help the kids.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You know what I have to do, right?
I was remembering who Chris Hackett was.
But only
again.
if we can't talk to him.
Now I remember.
Can't find another way.
Yeah, it's the counselor who had his kids like turn werewolves and shit.
Lead the way.
Yeah, and he's also a werewolf, I think, too.
Yeah, I think he's like one step down to the pack leader. Damn, that's a big moon.
But in our defense, though, he also was trying to keep them safe, though, because he knows what's gonna
There it
happen.
is. Hackett House.
That could just be save his own skin, though. So like people who
That
know
is
him
true.
don't know.
So he lives in some
that's true.
redneck mansion with his redneck family in the ass crack of the woods? Look at this place.
No, but it's where his mom lives, I think. Never been there, but if we're looking for answers, it's probably the best place to start.
So, wait, how do we get there?
What do you mean?
How do we get to the house?
What do you mean?
That's a
What do you
good
mean?
question.
Oh, yeah, I get the chain fences.
Maybe we just don't.
You came all the way out here to be like, maybe we don't go in there.
Oops,
I
know
can't.
you are, bro.
I kind of want to do angry. I'd be angry in this
Yeah,
scenario,
I'm
honestly.
a being too, yeah.
Dragged through the rain all this way. Fucking. Maybe we don't go there.
Wait,
Will
is
you
he playing
stop
with us?
protecting him? Whose side are you on?
At this point, I have no fucking idea.
There is a lot more to this than you realize.
Like what?
Kidnapping, murder, cover-ups. I think the whole goddamn Hackett family is in on it. Maybe the whole camp, maybe even you, for all I know.
Yeah, what if you're a
Yeah,
werewolf?
great. Just walk away.
Ryan is out of his depth.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just figured that instead of standing around listening to
Oh,
you complain, I'd actually
wait,
try to
not
find
that.
another way across.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit!
Ooh, fuck.
That would hurt.
Oh my God, imagine there was a water, dude.
Oh, it's not even deep water. Look, he can stand in it.
Holy fuck. And with that far, nah, there's no way they were able to lock
Laura?
after that. Nah, their
Are you
ass
hurt?
must have hurt or something.
It's the water.
I like how broken the water physics are.
What about the water?
I could have died.
We could have died. But we didn't.
Is that a time to be like inclusive like that? Like.
It's nothing, you'll be fine. And you don't look delicious to me yet, so I guess that means we still have time.
Wait,
on, let's
what?
find a
Wait,
way
they're
out.
infected now?
That's not funny.
Wait, I'm
It's a
confused.
bit funny.
Wait, yeah. Is she saying the water turns people to werewolves?
Wait. pause it for a second.
my
We gotta talk about this. What is she talking about?
I don't know why the water would turn people to werewolves.
What?
I don't think we've heard anything on that.
I'm talking about the water. Damn, that's a huge ass cashew. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's nothing on, like, water.
What about, what does it say on Laura? What's the Laura thing? Laura tab.
Laura?
Yeah, right. Oh, no? Okay. I don't understand what she was talking. Okay, maybe she'll tell more, but
Maybe. Yeah, because we haven't seen that yet.
because the way she jumped out of the water like that, like, it made me think about something. Like, what is she talking about?
Laura. Jesus, Marion, jazz hands.
Huh?
Here's
What?
a thought.
What are you doing?
Relax. Look.
Oh my god, her eyes fully healed. What the? What the?
So they got super
No.
healing
Guys,
because
you
of the
have
werewolf
grandma?
stuff?
No
Oh my god.
shit. Can you see yellow
No.
in my eyes?
Define yellow.
Shit. We haven't got much time.
Oh, so she's a werewolf now.
Why
But
would the
how?
water turn people to werewolves?
Well, she did have an injury, but what about him? I'm confused now.
Yeah,
Was
why
she
is...
already scratched?
I mean, she was scratched in the eye, but that was several months before these events.
I'm so lost, dude. What, is that like werewolf saliva in the water or some shit? Like, is that where they piss? Like, I don't
This must be
understand.
part of the old working quarry.
The Forgotten belongs to the quarry miner abandoned the tunnels that are foreclosure because this has been down here since the 1930s.
Makes sense.
Can we actually read the note, or...?
Wait, do we need any tarot or no?
That's why I came over here. I'm looking for it.
Oh, okay. I don't know if we already passed the tarots and that.
This is the first time we got to walk around, so we shouldn't have. Dear
Yeah.
valued employee, I regret to inform you that their services at Hackett's Quarry will no longer be required. It is my intention to return to the site of the central quarry to an area of natural beauty by flooding it and allowing it to take form in its place. You'll be paid until the end of the coming week and then asked to vacate the premises. I'd like to thank you for continued loyalty and wish you well in all your future endeavors. Yours faithfully, Septimus Hackett. Tight bastard, you can't just pay us. Last time I trust a Hackett. Let's see. Any tarot behind the rock? Nope.
Would it be in a cutscene, right?
No, I mean, we've had some cousins. We've also had most of them just be walking around. I really am curious because we haven't seen anything that mentioned water turn people to werewolves.
Like I said, what if they peed in it or maybe saliva?
I think the only because all we've been told is that the Hackets were involved in that one that one gypsy woman's cart being burned down,
Yeah.
and she cursed them.
And the gypsy is probably the tarot person, right?
These must have been from the quarry days.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Like it.
No one's been down here for years.
Yes, I'm sure no one's been down here for years. Those lights full of electricity say that for sure.
Yeah, kind of strange. I don't know, it's just like suspicious water, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, it looks funky down there.
Yeah, they definitely pissed in there, bro.
Yeah, no tarot cards. She looked cooler with the eye patch.
She honestly did. Now she just looks disappointed.
Did you hear that too?
It's her.
Who?
The hag of Hackett's Quarry. It's like she's warning us off.
No, that wasn't the same woman's voice
Or
we've had
guiding us.
before.
Yeah, so one went in the cage.
Oh my,
I just
oh my,
went
get
out
out of our
to
way.
stream. Oh, you too, Mustard. Have a good night, okay? Bye.
Shit.
Think anyone heard that?
No, they can't have done.
This place is not up to code.
I mean, if the code is literally crumbling to the ground, then I think it's doing fine.
Ha 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 ha! You're so funny.
Keep moving.
Yeah.
God, I hate her so much.
Careful. Jeez.
I see why her boyfriend chose to be a werewolf. Definitely that choice.
Honestly. Yep.
And if I go straight, there will be a tarot card, right? Nope. Okay, invisible wall. I'm just trying to be like extra thorough. Hey!
Oh, hey, let's go! The lovers, shit.
Just
That's kind of
look at this
important.
place.
That card. We might have to choose that one.
Love
at the
isn't
end.
real.
Yeah, but that card could probably involve our boy's death. I'm not. That's... Ew, no, ew, get off of her. Get off of her. Get off.
Yeah, what is
Oh my
with this
God.
flirty? She's literally doing this to save her boyfriend, and she's flirting with this guy as she does it.
Hamburger right about now.
What?
Oh my god,
being weird.
bro. Like, what is wrong with her?
What the fuck do you mean hamburger? Where did that come from?
I'm so grossed out, bitch. I hope you know we're gay. Like, we don't like pussy. We like dick.
Oh yeah, I
Get
forgot
off.
he's the one dating that the awkward guy, right?
Yeah, he's dating the Dylan, I think his name, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's barking up the wrong tree.
I mean, they're not dating. We just think that they're dating.
Oh boy, this is high.
Either way, she's going for the wrong kind of wood.
Yeah, we're trying to ship them, you know? And so, and Mike, we've agreed, anyone that impacts,
Do you
like,
think
that messes up their relationship, gotta kill
something
them.
is in here with us?
Either that or this route isn't as disused as we thought.
I mean, technically, she's a werewolf now, so we can kill her now, right?
And just Kurt Cobain
But
point of view.
also, care to mention, she does
All
have
the
the
way
gun
down.
too, so it's kind of not good.
Well, where's cave out?
What
Look
is
who's
with this?
finding their funny bone.
Neither of you are finding it.
Bruh.
Sir, that is the wrong way. Sir, we came from there.
Nah, he just wants to get the fuck out, leave her in here. Honestly, valid. Me
So
too.
what's your deal then?
What do you mean?
The whole mysterious, brooding loner thing, it doesn't quite fit with the I love my camp leader vibe.
So I don't fit into the right box, is that what you're saying?
Oh my god. I need her to, like...
And what is with this derpy ass smile she has going on?
God, bro, I'm telling you, she's so ugly. Okay.
Her
alright,
eyes aren't
well,
yellow here. Wait. Why are her eyes
So-
blue now?
Inquisitive or patient?
I guess inquisitive?
Yeah, we'll do that.
And what box would that be?
Nothing. Forget it.
Do you always do that?
Do what?
Start to engage in a conversation and then just immediately recoil into your shell.
With
Maybe I don't
guns
wanna talk to
and
you
women
anymore.
who I've just
oh,
met?
wow,
Yes.
Charming. I am assuming you're single?
Yeah? Why?
No reason.
You have
Why
a
do you care?
boyfriend!
Why do you care? What the fuck, bitch? Like, why do you care? Get me out. Oh
You're
my god.
doing
way.
all this to
feel
save your boyfriend. And
Yeah.
what?
I think it's
Or
the
you can
werewolf
just
talking.
hang out here.
Bro, maybe
Up
she's
to
in
you.
need, bro.
Someone's been eating their spinach?
So, you want to go into the collapsing nightmare tunnel first, or shall I?
I definitely
Why-
think you should go first.
Why would they not just climb over that? Why would they risk ripping off wooden planking to... Ooh. Wooden planking that goes to a mine?
You just don't think about these things, Mike.
They could have stepped over. It was waist high at most. Cobwebs. Alright, so we have the Lover's card and the Wheel of Fortune. There we go.
Wait, you found
Careful.
another card?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just knocked the fuck out. Oh my god.
Thanks. I'm fine.
Yeah, we got the Wheel of Fortune.
Nah.
Guess we found the party.
Alcohol.
The
From
Wheel of
Prohibition.
Fortune's probably a good one too. I
These
don't
are
know.
rum
I'll let
running
you
hells.
decide the tarot.
That would make that liquor almost 100 years old. Probably still good.
Good. Try vintage. Well, I guess the Hacketts were bootleggers.
Makes sense. I guess when the course
That shit would
started,
have
they
a
branched
kick.
out.
Come on. Time travel later.
Otherwise, that doesn't seem like there's actually much to see around here.
You think
No,
this
I'll be
is
honest,
it?
it's kind of dark. I can't see shit.
Beach me.
The
I'm
same.
pretty
It's
much
just
completely
a
lost.
dark game.
Yeah, me too. Shall we?
Ooh, that could have been very funny, actually.
I just can't get over how unloyal she is.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Caitlin. Finally. I love Caitlin.
Yeah, Caitlyn and the nerdy girl. Fucking
I'm sorry, are we gonna
best.
talk about the fact that she good at a gun and never told us why?
Wait, what?
Remember how she like was able to reload and
Oh yeah.
like work on a shotgun and like don't understand why?
Maybe her bracelet contains
the hell
silver,
happened here?
so she was making a silver shotgun slug. Why would she be dismissive about it?
Dismissive.
I don't know if you saw.
What?
Well, he saw the. Remember when she was fighting the redneck dude on the staircase?
Mm-hmm.
He just saw the damage and asked about it. So this is our choices of response.
My bad.
I kind of want to do my best.
Yeah, my bad. My bad.
That's kind of my bad. Had a bit of a tumble with one of the locals.
The fuck? Caitlin, this place is wrecked.
Well, you should see the other guy.
What do you think happened to Jacob and Emma?
Probably nothing. Hopefully.
I mean, should we go find them? Warn them?
I think the safest thing, the most responsible thing, is to try and get help.
Right. And then we can come back for them.
And Nick.
And Nick.
Bitch,
Yeah.
why do you care about Nick still? Literally, no one cares about Nick.
Right. We've been trying to kill him for ages.
The second we have a shotgun selection to shoot him, I am going for it.
Please do.
Is there something in there?
Are they having
I don't
sex
know.
in the van?
What is it?
Jacob? Emma?
Are they... Should I open it up?
What is this
Funeral,
man?
buddy.
Nah, they're definitely fucking in that van, bro.
Oh,
She maced me! She maced me!
Hey, it's us! Oh shit.
It burns!
Oh my god. I'm so
Wait,
sorry.
How did we
Dylan,
not
I am
see
so,
her
so
right
sorry.
there?
I didn't know it was you.
Yeah,
I was really
also-
scared and I thought
did
it's
she not just look out the
Mace.
window and see it's 3 humans and not?
What?
Air freshener.
Oh,
How did neither of them just realize
That's all I
it's
could find in
humans?
the van.
Well, I mean, I feel like the air pressure would still fucking hurt, bro.
Yeah, there's still chemicals in the eye.
And the
So she was
nose.
in the police station this whole time?
Insane, right?
This whole time, we were having such a fun summer. We never knew.
Jeez.
Okay.
Can you fix it?
No,
Oh.
not without some parts. Specifically, a rotor arm. There's a scrapyard up the road.
So you can fix it.
Wait,
No
where's
promises.
the other guy?
but
Where's Jacob?
There's hope. That's where we're gonna find it.
He and his girlfriend were running from someone in the woods. The girlfriend made
Sounds
it to
like
this
a long
van.
shot.
He got cut off, I think. Oh no, he got taken by the two redneck people. He's in the cage next to Nick.
Oh shit. And he has a rotor.
No, the rotor fell out of his underpants into the lake.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, that's gone.
Oh no.
We made the choice to, when Emma screamed in the forest, we made the choice to go for Emma rather than dive for the rotor arm.
Fuck. You should have said fuck Emma.
Fuck you! Gamer Girl goes hard! Do we make her bitchy or nice?
Mean.
Bitchy?
Got something better to do?
Not die.
Yeah, I'd like that too. By getting the hell out of here.
Okay, well, just because you're using logic to make sense doesn't mean that I'm totally
He's doing
into
air
it.
quotes wrong.
What exactly are we supposed to do? I mean, the van is nice, but it's not exactly Fort Knox.
Well, there's a shelter under the lodge. You could be safe there for a while.
All right. Abby, you're with me. Good luck.
No, not that shelter lodge. Remember that one, Mike?
I'd like to lodge your shelter.
Bro. Oh, shit,
I'm sad we never got to see what was in the basement of the office.
Listen, Mike, weren't we gonna talk about doing another route?
Yeah, I thought we were going to do multiple playthroughs of this game.
Yeah. Maybe in the next one we can fuck around.
We should do one where we just see how many people can get killed.
What was that?
Right.
Huh?
What was that?
Oh, it's nothing. We got guests downstairs. We don't want any more blood on our hands.
Oh my god, this bitch.
Keep it down.
You keep it down.
Shh.
Her eyes, what the
They're
fuck?
so catty with each other.
This way. Come on.
Please, Gabe, don't let the gay couple not be
Hey
a gay
guys, how you
couple.
doing? Oh wait. Fuck, give it back. There we go.
Oh no.
The Emperor. Hey Gus, y'all know this game so far is amazing.
I love this game.
Careful.
Okay.
Why are you weepy? I'm Gucci. Just got home from work recently.
It's coming from a bed.
Jacob.
Bruh, why are you so loud?
Hey, it's Ryan. Jesus, what happened to you?
Why is he in shock all of a sudden? No, it's electrocuted.
Hey. Bad idea.
Look, you gotta get me out of here, man.
How?
Seriously.
It's electrified.
Okay, there's a box in the corner of the room. I think that's how they're operated, okay? I saw this old guy, hunter dude from the woods. He used that.
are you here, Travis? You ought to be out with the others. Like I say, we've been all night long trying to keep those kids safe.
Ma. It's Kaylee. She's dead.
No.
Boys are bringing her in right now.
Now I know you got to screw loose in that cop head of yours. There ain't no way to kill her in her kind of condition.
Silver bullet. She's dead, Ma.
I love the bass drop every time.
Right? It's like a vine boom. Today was a lot of Overwatch ghosts. That's true. That was exhausting.
No, no. Not my granddaughter. Not my only granddaughter. Not my Kaylee. Not my little Kaylee. Not my little Kaylee. Not my little Kaylee. You goddamn piece of shit! Not my little Kaylee! God damn you! What did you do to her?
Why didn't they just...
Nothing, Ma.
Here's my thing. If they want to keep people safe, why don't they just lock up everyone during the werewolf stuff?
Did you get bitten?
Is she crazy?
Do I stop her? Do I stop her?
Yes. Don't stop her.
Too late.
Wait, is that her boyfriend?
No, that's Nick.
Laura.
She shot Nick.
What have you done?
Nah, we
Nah. We killed Nick, buddy.
we killed Nick.
Yeah, we killed Nick, bro.
Call out. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
Yeah.
Let her go! Hey, Ma! Sit Bobby down!
Her beauty is a tiger.
Shut up. What the
Be
fuck is
careful,
this song?
Make sure that shit doesn't bite. Her
Nick's dead. I was like a celebration.
That's why I need to find the key
Woo!
tonight.
Cheers. We make a toast.
That's the only thing. That's why there's a happy music going on. Even the game is good. Is glad. Yo, I kind of vibe with this song though.
I know.
I just fucking Shazammed it. I just might fucking play this later. That goes hard.
Welcome back. Did you miss me?
Hey, Mommy.
No, I always miss you, Mommy
I
dear.
miss you, Mommy.
Brought me some more of my cards. Let's have a look, shall we?
I missed you, Mommy.
So that's one you want to go
The
with?
lovers.
Well, let's
There's
see.
harmony and disagreement.
'Cause
Brought
the
to
Wheel of
light
Fortune's also
only
really
by
good, too.
Sparks of passion. Blood flows from the heart. You can almost taste it. And tasting it could save someone's life.
Ooh. Okay, what's the Wheel of Fortune?
The Wheel of
strong
Fortune. After all, fortune is nothing but a spinning wheel. Sometimes you have to take a chance.
Did you get your thing
Karma
done, by the way,
works in
Ghost?
mysterious ways, but it favors those who pay attention. Watch closely. Though the wheel spins, the eagle-eyed can tell where it's going to stop.
Yeah, the lovers. Oh, the Emperor. I forgot we had the Emperor, too.
The Emperor. Authority, paternity, strictures designed to topple, no? How the mighty may fall, and their empires with them. Let them bleed. Let them rip
What did
each
you
other
not accomplish?
apart.
Because there's a lot.
Let them rot. Details.
Dude, she's like bipolar with how much she switches between.
I mean, I'm bipolar. That's why she's my mommy.
Seymour, right?
Yeah, Seymour. I'll probably the lovers.
Then choose the possible future
Because
you'd
lovers
like
involves
to
a
witness.
death.
And
Yeah.
watch carefully. Try
Yeah,
and
so I guess
find
the
some
lovers is
clarity in
The only person we cared about dying is dead, so we want everyone else alive.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I knew it! I knew it!
Go. You still got
I knew
time.
it!
Be careful now.
She's gonna bite
Oh my God.
him?
Careful.
No way! Bro! See, I knew the lover's card was important. We gotta save our Dylan.
Why would she
Or
bite
whatever.
Dylan? Maybe don't get shot, so she bites him so to get the healing properties?
Have you been there before?
The scrapyard? Nah. Just seen the sign on my way to camp.
No. That was Dylan that got
What
bit,
if
right?
we just, like, walk to
Yeah.
the main road?
This isn't the main road?
No, this is all Hackett property. The main road is another mile that way. Wait,
Wait,
how do
which
I know
one's
so much more
Dylan?
about everything than you do?
Wait, shut
That
up.
one.
So
That one's
basically,
Dylan.
it's
Oh,
another
no, the one
hour
that got
walk to
bit
the
was
main
the,
road, and then at least another
in that
3-4 hour walk until
lovers
the
clip, it
nearest
was the African American dude.
whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What was that?
I believe.
I miss you to
Let's just
save
keep
our,
moving.
our gay couple, man. We gotta do. If we don't save our gay couple, bro, we can't play this game no
So-
more.
They're too
Ryan.
adorable not to save.
Right.
Oh boy.
Curious.
Do you think there was something going on there?
Yeah, there were definitely sparks flying there.
Yeah, I know, but I couldn't tell if it was angry sparks or, like, sexy sparks.
Definitely felt like sexy sparks.
Wait.
Doesn't she
Are
already
they
have a
talking?
boyfriend?
Yeah, but
Wait.
Ryan's Ryan.
No, Whip. No, shut up. No. No.
Not that it matters.
What?
Now that he's off on a
Dylan.
daring adventure with Little Miss Mysterious.
Dylan.
How do you compete with
Aren't
that?
you in love with him?
I love Dylan.
Aren't you in love with Ryan, Dylan? Why are you talking to her like that?
I say
Are you
curious then,
not
right?
worth the effort?
Nah, we can't let them think that. We gotta go curious.
Curious.
Kinda got close at the fire pit back there. Am I crazy or was something about to happen?
There's always next year, right?
Well, let's get through this year first.
Yeah, who in their right mind would come back to this camp after?
Right.
Doesn't really matter anyway. It looks like we finally know Ryan's type. Confident, and
No, shut
Heroic.
up.
with an eye patch.
I can't listen to this anymore.
So pirates.
Maybe she shivers his timbers.
Shut
Yeah.
up, bro.
We should have had her go alone.
Mm-hmm. Like he's acting like he doesn't have no.
Oh shit.
I don't like this.
Relax. It's a motion sensor. We're okay. I think.
Oh look, steampunk's back in.
Ew. Come on, this way.
Ew, I love steampunk. Fuck you. Miss Strawn has lost approval from me.
So what do we do now?
Well, I guess we just make ourselves at home. Whip up some cocktails, see what's on the TV. No?
Can we do annoyed?
Yeah.
Would you just cut it out, please?
Cut what out?
Acting like whatever it is you're acting like. It's not funny.
Oh, sorry. My name's Abigail, and I'm clinically unable to have a good time. You see, I had it surgically removed when I was just a wee child.
What the oh, I hope this bitch dies.
Oh my god, she's next. She's next on our agenda. Nah, fuck off, bitch.
Nah, we go
You know
down
what?
this rabbit
Fuck
hole.
off.
Oh my, someone's in a mood.
Do you understand how serious this is?
Oh my god, I was just trying to distract you. I thought you could use a laugh.
Well, it didn't work.
Excuse me for trying to cheer up my friend. Next time I guess I won't.
Fine.
Friends don't make out with friends' boyfriends or crushes.
Right.
Fuck this night, huh?
Yeah.
Come on. I want to hear you say it.
You heard me say fuck you. You also hear me say
this
fuck the night.
Fuck it all the way to morning.
Honestly, I do kind of like their friendship.
I don't. The tall one's a bitch.
Put me down.
Yeah, but
Easy, Ma.
Put me down, you bitch! Blow your fucking head up!
Damn, she's strong.
Bitch.
Everybody just relax.
Can't shoot what you can't see, darling.
Wait, is he not realizing that her scratch is fully healed or what?
I don't think he cares right now.
Like, wouldn't he have said something?
Gotcha. Don't pay for what you did to my Kaylee.
Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I do it?
Yeah.
Oh!
Ooh!
Oh!
Ooh!
Oh!
Ooh!
Everybody stop!
Constance. What the fuck is going on up here?
Where the fuck did they come from?
Wake up. Wake up. Darling. Wake up. Wake up.
Oh, we chose wrong.
She's gone. Little
Oh,
Bobby.
they've been trying to protect us and we murdered her. Oh, no.
Kill No more party.
I feel so bad.
No more protecting anyone. Travis.
Oh!
Maybe we shouldn't have shot it.
We should not have shot it, no.
Can we go back? Is there a is there a way to go
Unfortunately
back?
not. I thought we were just gonna rip the gun away. I didn't think we were gonna keep firing.
Alright, next playthrough then. Holy shit.
Oh, I feel so bad.
I don't, honestly.
Okay. Alright, that's not good.
But then again, I also didn't like her, so.
No.
No, don't pull knife.
Yeah, no, then you bleed out.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Oh.
Don't do that. Yeah, don't pull the knife.
Oh, can you imagine how much that hurts having the muscles move around that?
Well, that's why you're not supposed to move too much.
I don't think he's listening to that rule.
Ugh, that shit?
I thought that was like a liver or something.
Bro, they really be shitting buckets, bro. I thought that was just a saying, but no, it's for real.
That poor old woman was just trying to protect us, man.
Was she really trying to protect us? Because she was kind of pulling her hair and trying to kill it.
She was trying to get the gun away from her.
But you also have to mention her family is werewolves, right?
And her family's also been the ones fighting the werewolves.
Not really fighting them.
Keeping them from harming others.
Why is that paper so thick? Haley's letter.
Haley Haggis' letter of confession addressed to her grandmother.
Oh, we're not gonna read it?
I was hoping we would. I guess not.
Well, sucks she can't read the letter to grandmother because grandmother's dead.
Oh, damn. And
Oh,
and
shit.
Kaylee's dead. They're both dead.
Yeah, they're both dead. I guess they'll see each other in heaven, I guess. I don't... For all I know.
I mean, they were dogs, so maybe in the dog park up high.
Dogs in heaven.
Not all dogs go to heaven, is what I've learned from movies.
That's a really good movie. found out something sad about that movie too. The first movie, the the kid actor, she died after the movie was done.
How'd she die?
I think she got killed or something, but
Ew.
yeah, she died. And remember the dog, the German Shepherd?
Yeah.
Yeah, the voice actor made a goodbye to the voice actor at the end credits where he was saying goodnight to her. It was really sad.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it's a really good movie though. Wait, but he stabbed her.
Hyde? I
Hyde,
think Hyde.
yeah. I mean, how's he gonna block the door, man? Under the bed. I don't think cabinet's gonna work. Because he's probably looking in the cabinet.
Isn't that sign leaking blood everywhere?
No, he shouldn't be bleeding because the knife's on in there.
Well, no, but there would still be bleeding. It just wouldn't be like excessive.
Not really. See, I knew it. He's gonna look in that cabinet. I knew he's probably gonna find something in that cabinet, bro. He's going to the other door. Shut up! Don't do it. Come on, man.
Why would you move in this scenario?
I'm close. Stand by. Over.
Yeah, that's not. You're not making a sound at all.
At this point, Mike, I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to believe in. I just want our gay couple to be safe together.
I mean, we would have been able to trust these people, but we shot their grandma.
You can't hide from me in my own house, fucker! You're a fucker.
Got him! Got him! Run?
Hide.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Kinoko, for the follow. I hope your night's been going well. I am Mike's conscious in the Quarry right now.
I can hear you breathing, little girl.
No, you can't. I'm holding my breath.
You were got cut off though. I was in Nivea back to lurking. Oh, bet. I'll be playing more League later. But right now we're playing Quarry. Yeah.
Quarry.
Scary skinwalky looking ass werewolves.
And annoying women with eye patches that don't have eye patches anymore.
I know, bro. She looks so ugly.
Yeah, let's play the piano.
Hell yeah, let's play it. I don't care if she dies.
I like the idea of running for your life from an armed man. This would be a great time to play piano.
Dick.
That was it?
There are bears around here.
Doesn't look like a bear skull.
sorry. It's fucking juicy.
What was he doing during the like period he like summer camp is 2 months? What was he doing during the events where he would turn into a fucking werewolf while the campers are around?
I don't know. I also want to mention, keep playing it because I can hear it through the background, but I'm gonna go do that.
Okay. Oh, we found the sun.
You did? Okay.
Okay, that seems pretty important. I'm actually gonna pause and wait for. That's an important scene. Let's look through the evidence, I guess. The lump board appears to be damaged or scarred flesh. Why is this one an exclamation point like we found it, but it's not there? Oh, that's why. Okay. It's the same as opposed in the woods. Why does Chris Hackett have them connected to Harem's serum in some way? Oop, that was the wrong button. Whatever those posters are doing in Chris Hackett's possession, he must have forgotten to take them down. He's dead, however happy they once were, that's all that's changed now. Show cameras around the camp are controlled by Chris Hackett for a secret room in his office, like he's looking for something. C. Hackett and T. Hackett, Chris and Travis, they're brothers. Laura sold the police car to escape the ditch in the lake. She must have left the keys on the island along the backs. She drove the car into the lake? The fuck? This wasn't Hackett's hunting prowess. You think they'd want to cover up the bullet wounds and sign of injury. Perhaps they serve as a reminder that these animals are definitely dead. Laura and Max were kidnapped by Travis, and Chris tried to hide it by not reporting that they didn't show for camp. The sign matches the drawing in the pool house, but why was it torn up? Maybe there's something to the ghost story. This drawing matches the letter found in the fire pit. Kids have the scariest imaginations. There's so many question marks that have exclamation points. I don't know why I can't explore those ones. Laura shot Constance in the head. Ew. Yeah, definitely we've made the wrong choices in some of these.
best decisions, bro.
Grandma is dead.
Too bad. Too bad, so sad.
We ain't playing games no more, little girl.
Try me, motherfucker.
Oh, he tried you.
You know something? I ain't got enough silver to kill you, but I sure to hell can make you suffer.
Ooh. In the testes. Yeah. Fucking bitch slap. Do we attack or run?
Run. We'll just turn that bitch into a werewolf.
Okay, what's your position? What's your position?
Really?
Oh no.
That's not good. Actually, it should be fine. Didn't we shot the one? Shot Nick?
Oh, you're right. Nick's dead. Hey, that works
Yeah,
out.
Nick's...
That way is good.
Hey, what's up, slime? Yeah, we shot Nick. He's chilling. He's just walking out, bro.
I knew Nick was gonna die for the greater good.
What are you?
He can't see.
Everybody fucking stop right now!
What the fuck does he have?
Shoot her. Take her face off.
I
She
like
did
this
to
old
Kaylee.
man.
And she killed your mother, too.
Wait!
Oh, the rocket match?
There's so many things I want to like redo.
Should we just start over anyways?
We'll see this one through. I think we're nearing the end.
Yeah, we are.
I think the next one, not only do we try to save everyone, unfortunately that means Nick. I think we also trust this family
Why?
fully.
I hate everybody. Are we gonna skip cutscenes, like the ones that we already seen, or?
I think we can skip.
Okay, I hope so, because I don't want to go through all of it. If not, then my stomach's kind of upset right now, so I don't mind doing stuff. Bathroom breaks all the shitty cutscenes.
Well, imagine hitting that knife on something.
Damn, look, it's John Cena.
Where? I don't see him.
Red. His face.
Oh god.
I think we were supposed to release each other. I don't think you're supposed to go through the end, yeah.
Oh wait, I think this is where the lover's card comes in.
You gotta help me.
I do?
Yeah, I promise. I won't tell anyone anything.
No, man. Family first. Besides, I'll get in trouble.
I like this guy.
Do we stab?
Dad?
No.
No.
Please. You stole my knife.
Oh.
Oh! Laura! Oh no, you've been bit!
Pick on someone your own size.
You've been bit!
Travis!
Travis! I love that, bro. I love it when the brawny guys are always his ones. Like, oh my god, I'm so scared.
What the fuck happened to you?
Oh, you know, nothing out of the ordinary.
Oh my god. Wait, that means he's gonna be werewolf boyfriend. Like, he's gonna be a werewolf boyfriend.
I'm so sorry.
Do we do the bite?
That bad?
I don't.
Fuck yeah.
Oh.
We gotta save him. He's gonna die.
Keep trying to fix it. Whatever this is, people keep getting hurt.
But hear me out. I know we
Max.
shouldn't bite him, but he's gonna die if we don't bite him. You do know that, right?
Yeah.
Sympathetic. Like, Mike, he's not. He's like, sure,
It's
he's
not
gonna be a
your fault.
werewolf, but I mean.
I didn't have to come here.
I shouldn't have let you come.
But hear me out. If they're all werewolves,
you're not the
technically
boss
they're
of me.
safe, right?
Maybe.
Think about it.
Maybe as a gay couple, doggy style will be their favorite.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Am I dying?
Yeah.
You've lost a lot of blood.
But it'll heal though, right?
Wait. Maybe it will.
What?
Ryan, if you let me bite you...
Ma'am, I'm not into kink.
If you let me bite you, it means you'll be infected. Which means...
Which means it will heal.
Yeah. But it also means...
Yeah, I got it, Big Bad Wolf.
Ryan, I don't have much time. I can feel it, like it's fighting to get out. If you let me bite you and you heal, then
Then I have to kill Chris.
it's not killing Chris, it's killing a werewolf. It's saving your own life, and mine, and Max's, and your friends too.
Yeah, I
Why'd you
hate this.
bite me?
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike. I hate
I
this
live to kill
family.
Chris Hackett.
I hate this family. They're the reason why
Or
this whole
bleed out
shit
and
happened.
die.
Whether they were trying to protect us, bro. They weren't
Pretty
doing
much,
it to save us. They were just doing it because the family said so.
It's your call.
I mean,
for now.
But even if here's my thing, they're cursed with it, and the only way to break the curse is to kill their own family. So
Are you
rather
doing
than
this or
in
no?
lieu of trying to kill their own family, they're just trying to keep their family from killing other people. I feel like it makes sense.
The family started it all. But the faces are so uncanny. That's so true, bro. Yeah, accept it. Accept it. Just let it
Oh no.
If we don't, he's gonna die, Mike. Then no more gay couple.
Do it.
No more gay couple if we don't do it.
We don't even know that for surezies.
Bro, he's gonna bleed to death. Watch. Next playthrough. I bet you if we don't bite him, he's gonna die.
Next playthrough,
Agenda for you.
we said we were gonna trust the family next playthrough.
I bet you he's going to die if we don't bite him. I will look it up. It's kind of crazy how there's so many different ways to bite him, bitch. Bite him. Sorry about Mike. You pull away.
Dude, do it fast. What are you doing slow?
Okay.
Bro, that tastes pretty fucking good.
He should start to feel better soon, I guess.
She looks like shit, though.
Fuck. We gotta go. You got it.
Wait, couldn't she just lick his wound and have this fly ball for him? Like, or maybe spit in his mouth? Ew.
I think it's a little too personal. Homie is taken after all. Both of them are taken, actually. She's still cheating.
Oh my fucking god, bro. I just came with my thought about that for a second. God. You could just spit in his mouth, maybe he'll be better.
This guy's never thrown anything out, huh?
So, do you want to give me some direction on what we're looking for specifically?
Well, most of these cars look like they've already been stripped of parts. Just empty frames and chassis, which doesn't help us much.
Okay, so we're looking for engines?
Well, anything relatively intact.
Got it.
Oh, we're him.
Because, you know, now I'm thinking too, Mike, because it said, in the lover's card, it said it was a life or death situation. Just saying.
Yeah, but what if the death is him giving up his humanity?
Mike, you're thinking way too hard on this, and I like that about you, but don't think about it.
You're like, damn, he has a point. Mike, shut up!
Maybe I just want a hot werewolf boyfriend.
I just want Rem for me.
Are we gonna end up in a
Well,
documentary?
fuck Nick, right?
No.
Fuck
Shut up.
Nick.
Let's go.
Oh my god.
I know we gotta do one playthrough where we try and actually save everyone, but I say every other playthrough besides that one, we kill Nick.
Alright, bet. Bet. Fucking bet. I'm gonna cringe every time we be nice to you.
It's gonna be awful. I might need alcohol for this.
Right, for real. I'm gonna have to be drunk in that playthrough, dude. I'm fucking wasted.
I was like, what do you guys have against Nick? He's an asshole!
Shit, I'm too drunk. I can't
The sons of
read.
bitches had it all planned out.
I'll have the whole game muted that time, too.
Michael, what are they saying? I didn't want to hear Nick. Body damage?
We should mod Nick out.
Who's T? Looks like these guys were
That would
cooking
be
the books a
completely
little.
different character.
Oh! The parts we're gonna get are from
Said
the car the couple were driving in the beginning of the game.
Oh.
Excuse me, Miss Strong. I'd very much rather be playing as you right now.
I know, for real. Gosh, she's so hot, dude. I still call dibs.
Aww.
Boy, you wanted the other bitch. That's why we killed Nick in the first place.
Yeah, but why can't I have both?
No. You hoe.
have my cake and lick it too.
Bro, I want woman too. You ain't the only one that wants.
The cutoff. I am 100% gonna be missing a tarot card somewhere around here.
Definitely. At this point, this playthrough is already fucked, so who cares anymore, right?
I did not think we'd be shooting the grandma. I thought we were just pointing a gun away from her. Like, what the fuck was that?
That's probably what the Wheel of Fortune was for, anyways. I'm gonna be honest.
No, the Wheel of Fortune, we didn't select tarot cards until after we shot her.
He knows what he's doing.
Did we?
I know,
Always
but I'm
safer
thinking
than
that's
we
what
are
the
out
Wheel
here.
of Fortune was for.
Oh,
I'm
maybe.
guessing. Yeah. Because they talked about family.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Why is there a bunch of bad cards? This already sounds like a bad thing, though. Why was this so close to the jam?
In fact, it owns the town, and it's like the only junkyard of the entire town.
Remember, I have an upset stomach. I'm gonna be right back again. But keep playing, keep playing.
Yeah, if anything more comes up, I'll pause it. For now, it's just exploration. But there's a lot to explore here. This looks like every fucking Dead by Daylight map that's based outside. This is a fucking maze. Ooh, I found the fucking tarot card here. Let's go. That's mean too. That's like a fucking hell hidden one. Yeah, there's the car. For when you get back, the tarot card I found was Judgment. Wait, where did Strong go? Oh, this is apparently dead end. Oh, there she is. I'll avoid going towards the magnet because I'm guessing that's the continuation. This torn and broken remains of an old sideshow attraction that may... The way they're intertwined with the rest of the scrap shows they've been sitting here for a long time.
What's this? Aram Scare. Seeing this, Caitlin?
Also the fact that, like, killing the granddaughter wasn't even our choice. The fucking eye patch bitch did it before we even had control of her. Looks like there's everything around here. Let's see. Any more of this available then? Surprisingly, I don't know what these question marks are going to be.
It hurts.
But no, we found Judgment.
Judgment. Okay. I don't know. It could be a really bad card, bro.
It writes it as if it will show a way to avoid someone's death.
Judgment?
Yeah, perhaps
Probably.
one's own judgment, a snap decision to make can save them from their own personal day of reckoning.
Yeah. It's more of a fight against yourself kind of card, but we'll see. We'll see what other cards we get.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was mean. It was like up in like this out of pocket area.
Look.
I was right, it's the fucking van from the start. I'm such a gamer.
So, you ever operated a crane before?
I actually used to be pretty good at the claw game at my local arcade. The kids used to call me the grabber.
Nope.
Oh, I hear that. Yeah.
Look, why don't you see if you can lower it down so I can take a look under the hood?
Oh, that's bad. That's an adult joke.
Can I have the gun?
I think we should keep her with the gun.
Yeah,
Remember how good of a shot she was? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gay man can play with the knob.
Sure, yeah, sure thing. Just watch my back, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a little awkward, bro. Wait, was this newer than Until Dawn or older?
Newer.
Newer? Oh.
Yeah, it's made by the same
Right.
people.
Looks like somebody's mom never taught them how to clean up after themselves.
Oh my fucking god.
Okay, let's see what we're working with. Alright, not too complicated.
That's not gonna leave the fucking keys in the ground.
Grabber.
What the hell is going on?
My bad. Okay. Alright. Here goes nothing.
How does he even know? I wouldn't even know.
Oh, it's just a joystick.
Yeah, but where does it tell you?
You did it!
Man,
Yeah,
imagine that
I
squash
think I found my calling.
About time! Well, maybe we can see if we can try and get this thing running. Score!
Oh no. Lift car?
Lift car. Yeah, lift car.
Oh, we made it.
Fall apart! Stop! Dylan! I'm in the fucking car! What the fuck are you doing? Dylan!
The music?
Oh, fuck. Dylan! Get the damn werewolf on the damn car!
There's no pleasing her.
Hurry the fuck up!
Yeah, horn.
Horn, yeah. We don't want to kill her. Where's the shotgun?
Drop it. Oh, what is that?
Damn, damn, he's working. Oh, damn, he's working.
Dylan, help! Dylan, come on! Help, please! Dylan!
You rusty bitch.
I'm jumping as fast as I can to save her.
No!
Oh!
Wasn't there two?
No, I think it's just the one. Was it two?
I think there was two.
I thought there was... I'm pretty sure that one was just the one that was on the window and it jumped off and fell next to her.
Oh, okay.
Dylan, thank you. You actually saved my life. For realsies.
Yeah,
Yeah?
no sweat. I just can't wait to see who they choose.
What?
To play me in the movie about how brave I am.
Don't push it.
Oh my fucking god.
Where'd the shotgun come from?
So much for our brilliant escape plan.
Okay, back to the lodge.
Are you nuts?
Better than being out in the open. Come on.
Let you out. Making it so I don't trust Daisy.
I wonder if it would have been possible to get out of here with the car.
No.
We can't just sit here.
Why not? Dylan said it's safe here.
Well, yeah, I don't want to be waiting around.
But that's literally all we need to do. Just wait until morning, right?
Fine. But we need protection. Go see what you can find. It's better than just sitting around.
You're also just sitting around, though.
God, can we just kill her already?
She's such a bitch.
Yeah, the judgment card might be better. Hierophant's just about knowledge, information, knowing outside of the box kind of thing.
I'd like to explore this girl's box.
So yeah, probably judgment would be more important.
Was she even listening to her?
Huh.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the
Main
nerdy girl.
piece is
She's a
gone.
bit of a
That's why
pushover.
there's no power? Why would somebody do that?
What is it?
Silver shells.
How'd they get down here?
The hunter must have dropped them. This is probably how he got upstairs and attacked Caitlin.
These fucking guys are everywhere.
Oh, she pocketed it. Nice.
What'd you find?
Oh, I'm just checking out this ladder.
Bitch, why don't you
Is that
start
a
looking too?
Tiny
Lazy
little door
bitch.
up there?
Oh,
this
is what's...
yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll open it up.
So that hatch in
Why?
the office
know, is
just
that
let
there?
down here.
Exactly.
Oh, is that what it is?
Have you not been paying
I think
attention,
so.
like, at all?
Okay, what I mean is, it might be good for us to have an escape route. You know, we don't know what's up there. The lodge, there also could be a way for us to defend ourselves.
Okay. Guess that makes sense.
If you could stop moving, Cat, I would appreciate it.
I think we already took the shotgun room up there, so I don't think there's gonna be something to defend ourselves
Yeah,
with.
there's gonna be no shotgun there.
Yeah. Okay, see, now I feel less bad that we missed this earlier, if it just led to the basement.
Sucks we don't have the shotgun though.
Yeah. That is a cool... see, I like the knowing that we could have had, if we left the shotgun, something here now.
Yeah. game is so cool, honestly.
It's
Like,
really well made.
it literally makes it so that we have to play it.
Oh, they ain't getting through there in a hurry. Man, this place is huge.
Might need to rest a bit.
You'll feel better soon.
Cool.
I feel like it
I'm
didn't
feeling
work in terms
pretty
of infecting
good,
him.
actually.
What are you doing?
I mean, he's
Stop
able to
it.
walk.
I mean, she
smell
healed
that?
instantly.
No.
He's been
I
fucking
mean, but
walking around.
you also have to
Never
mention,
mind.
like, she's probably
Let's
been
just
like that
find
for a
another way
while,
down.
and we just realized
Away to
that
Chris
she
Hackett.
turned.
Or just
I
No,
mean,
no.
remember the other
way
guy?
out,
It took a long
maybe?
time.
I'm done being chased.
No, she said the water turned her.
Stabbed.
Sure. And another way out. Fine.
Maybe because the water is more of like a concentrated source of it.
Probably.
Huh.
What's that?
Prove we're on the right track. Stay close.
Yeah, all the better to see you with, my dear.
Shh.
It's so dark.
It is. I can't see shit, bro.
There's something alive right there.
That's definitely a werewolf.
That is breathing.
It is definitely a werewolf, bro. No. Is that Chris?
What was that?
I think that's Chris. That has to be Chris, dude.
I think
no
we
doubt
found
about
Chris
it.
Hackett.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go.
Son of a bitch.
They have him here.
Oh!
What the fuck is like this always happens, doesn't it?
I like how many bullets Aaron dropped to.
Not now.
This escalated so quickly.
Nightmare.
Bobby! The gun!
This escalated so quickly.
I know. I don't know what's happening. Pretty terrible. Oh, rest in peace. He gets knocked out, bro.
We should Chris, right? Because he's the host.
Yeah, Chris.
Oh.
Mike!
That wasn't Chris though! That wasn't Chris though!
Oh my god. Yeah, he's alive. We can't let him die.
But now we're gonna shoot the girl!
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we gotta save the gay couple.
We have to save the gay couple.
Bobby! The gun!
Homie had a fucking gun shoved into his skull though.
Hey!
Oh. Oh no, that was Chris.
You know, everyone would have been alive if we just killed Chris.
Yeah.
Thanks. For, not killing me.
Yeah. Likewise.
Nah, he would have killed you.
So,
Homie had the thing ready.
what now? Everyone's back to normal?
What? Oh. You think this is over? This isn't over.
Huh?
I don't understand. Chris is dead.
Oh. Oh, Chris wasn't the first.
That's not possible.
What do you mean that's not possible?
Caleb. Kaylee. The girl you killed? Her brother.
What?
Caleb bit Chris and Kaylee. Chris was just trying to protect him. He was a good man, my brother.
Well then, who bit Caleb?
Silas. They've been tracking him for years. He's a gypsy, a transient. He'd been long gone from the area, but we hoped he'd come back so we could end this. Anyway, there's sightings up and down the coast. A feral albino child, giant white wolf.
White wolf.
What? What'd you say? Where?
Where'd you see it?
Hey, let him
At
go!
At the cabins earlier tonight.
Okay. Okay. Okay, it makes sense. It all makes sense. He must have been back for months, and he's what ran you off the road 2 months ago. Help me. Help me. We can still save Caleb. We can still save what's left of
I
my
feel
family.
so bad for this cop, dude.
We can help those who are still alive.
I say suspicious.
Yeah.
Why the hell should I trust you?
I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm telling you we can end this. We kill Silas, everyone gets better. Everyone, who's still alive anyway.
Okay, so...
Yes, so
where
the
would
family
we
was just
even
trying to
find
protect everyone because
I know
of
exactly
what
where to
Chris and
find
his family went through.
Okay, let's go.
Listen,
This
Mike, you're
doesn't
not
mean
making
I
me feel
forgive
any
you for
better.
what you did.
I understand.
You're evil.
Can someone please get me some fucking clothes?
Also, where the fuck is Caleb? And also, wait, she wasn't turned by Chris. She was turned by lake water. Wait.
You had your chance. You had your chance to wipe out that wretched family, and you failed.
I'm confused.
Wait,
Doesn't
mommy?
matter. There's still time.
She wanted
We
the
can
family dead?
still come out on top. Past is the past. Let's just look to the future. shall
Oh
we?
my god, Mike.
She's a bitch.
The sun, the vitality of a new
So
day.
whose side are we
There's
on?
still
Is
time
what I
to
want
wake
to know.
up to the warmth of a night so
I don't even know by this point. I think our first playthrough
Your
is just
choices,
fucking
your
natural.
actions, your very life hangs in the balance. It's up to you to
Oh,
find
good night,
your
Kinoko.
path in the darkness and see the
Kinoko? That's my name.
sunrise once again.
I know, right?
Judgment. The bells of judgment cry bloody murder. Or do they? the fury of a hatred earned, a fate deserved. Likely. But he may have his uses, though he won't forgive. He won't forget.
Can we just be on her side? I really like Mommy.
The Hierophant.
I don't know if we
Where
can
did you find
anymore.
this?
She's mad at us for not killing the family. Oh,
Where
what?
did you find it? This shouldn't be here. He's been through enough pain. No, no,
Oh my God.
no.
Wait, what?
My poor boy. You see what they
Wait,
did to
what?
us?
We don't even get a choice?
6 years ago. Oh my God.
No.
This is a secret card, Mike. I think.
What have they done?
Yeah, this one we found right before we found Chris.
What have they done?
Oh shit.
Silas is her boy.
Yeah.
Nah. You know what?
Silas,
I don't care what you say, Mike. Kill the family. Kill them. We gotta help Mommy.
We don't even know what started the fire.
I don't care. Kill the family. That's what Mommy wants. We must listen to Mommy.
What the fuck? Wait, would I have had the option to kill her there?
Mommy's coming, Silas. Mommy's coming, Silas! Silas!
She's a badass. I love her.
What the fuck? Wait, so Silas is dead, then who's the White Wolf?
The tower? That's not a good card. That's not a good card. Tower is never good. Tower always means things happen real fast and not for the best.
My poor boy. You see what they did to us? How they hurt us. He's out there still, all alone. Each full moon they hunt him, armed with silver, trying to
Oh, so the burned body wasn't Silas, the burned body was the sheriff.
when they set my show ablaze 6 years ago. Stupid children. Little Silas. My little white wolf. He must be protected. He must not follow this path. Do you understand? Remember how I've helped you all this time. Remember how much I've done for you.
This is unsettling.
Yes, mommy.
This is unsettling. The fuck?
What do we do? Like,
Yeah.
what? I don't understand. What does
That-
she want from us?
That actually made our other cards fucking void.
Like, what the fuck? Should we have not picked the Hierophant? Like, I'm confused. Well, I mean, it makes sense. The Hierophant is a card that involves a lone wolf. Like, you're by yourself.
What the fuck?
Identity. You're on your own thing.
Why am I on top of a fucking
Literally
tree?
Hierophant. Thinking outside of the box. That's what
Laura!
I call it. The black sheep.
See, now this poor guy went from like a man who's dumb as rocks, but gets to turn into a werewolf once a month, to just back to being dumb as a bag of rocks.
Top of tree.
No, case in point.
Just an answer. So what's left of the family? The cop and who else? Caleb?
The cop and the father. And yeah, I guess Caleb.
Where the hell are my clothes?
Can you wash yourself first? Like, all over blood.
Yeah, legit, no one in this entire game has washed their blood off themselves. It's like, why would you not?
Okay.
Sexy.
Hey, yo!
The man's got them juicy pants.
Oh, he's kind of stashed, bro. Was that the last card? Because after that breakdown, like, is that it? I just want to know, like, we're not finding any more tarot cards, or... Wait, what chapter are we on? Can you check?
We're on chapter 10. We have 13 out of 22 tarot cards, but who knows how many of these are from paths we didn't see. Sun, Judgment. Oh, yeah, look, these are the last three we found. I think that was it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, what chapter are we on, though?
10.
Are we the last one?
I think so, yeah. Man fills out these pants pretty well.
I know, that's what I'm saying, bro. He's kind of snatched with it. Damn.
What he lacks intelligence, he can make up in a twink for.
You know what they say, the dumber they are, the sexier they are,
Oh, good, the matching hat.
Oh yeah, get those lights on your head now.
He did wash the blood off, apparently. Yeah, he put the hat on.
God, bro.
This bitch is playing fucking Barbie dress up in the woods here.
Yo, bro. I'm just thinking I'm hearing it, and I was like, are those my clothes? I swear. Why does he walk like that, though?
He walks like he has purpose, and yet he just woke up in a tree.
Oh my god, wait, he has an ass. Oh, now, never mind. That's just angle. Oh, wait, no. He's got something down there. Swim to
Oh.
shore. Yeah, swim to shore.
Yeah.
But there is a dead body. No, the hat. The hat's gone.
I just realized that was never explained. Who was the dead body in the lake?
I mean, it looks like it's been in there forever. Oh no, the dead body's over there.
just got cured. Homie just got cured. Oh no, he died. Oh!
Do you really want to use it on him?
I feel like we should. Because we're already near the end of the game, see who can save, you know?
Really? Okay, alright. I trust you. I trust your decision. I mean, it doesn't really matter. This playthrough was shit anyways. So
I will say, the game is not forgiven anymore. The second we make a decision, it's just killing us now.
Right.
Like early on, it would give you like 3 failure attempts. Like, are you sure? Are you really sure? Are you sure?
Guess we have to stay then. We can't swim.
Yeah, we don't want to lose the hat.
Yeah, we're not losing the hat.
Yeah, that's why we used the heart. Not because he died, because we don't lose the hat. The end. Okay.
That's it?
Switching characters at least.
It's like they wanted us to kill him.
The table. Help me.
Well, then that must have been Caleb then.
Either Caleb or the White Wolf.
Yeah, because the White Wolf is technically the White Wolf.
Okay. Well, can't get much worse than it already is, right? Great. Just like the cartoons.
It's been off and on all night. Gives us a little time.
How do you figure?
They don't like water, remember?
Right. Oh, we should have just been swimming in the lake all night.
And die of hypothermia? No.
Been in a boat all night then.
We're good now.
I mean, we
Night's
can
not
spend the
over
night
yet.
on a boat, right?
These fuckers know we're in here. And they're coming back the
way
first chance they
safer.
get.
Great news. Okay.
Alright. We gotta get a vantage point. Come on.
The campers all left. Why is there so dirty dishes everywhere? I wish there was like a fast walk button or something. These people will be slow. That bear has tits. I've circled this whole. Oh wait, maybe in here. Yeah, there we go. Why is this camera so inconspicuous? Okay, there was no point to me being in here.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
Oh.
Not you, not you. My blanket was stuck on my wheel. My chair.
Nice to put a name to a big
Scared
mean
me. I almost
face.
flipped my fucking chair
So
over.
what, you're like Mr. H's brother, I guess?
Who?
The big dude from earlier, when you and Ryan went to the radio hut. Mr. H's brother, I guess?
Right.
Jeez, must be really struggling if they're begging for $1.
Chris Atkins is asking campers' parents for additional donations to help with the renovation costs. Isn't that what camp fees are for? What else would that money be going? I will say that we murdered more than half the family. I feel like the woman would be happy about that.
I know, but we should still kill 2 more.
Oh, the High Priestess. What? Game? I want the High Priestess. There we go. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
That's the very last one. That's good. That means we don't gotta look for any more of the rest of this chapter.
Mm-hmm. Or just in general. Well, I mean, except for next game.
Yeah. It's so dark I can't see where I'm going.
Is there a way you can turn on the brightness?
Maybe. Settings. There we go. Let's try that. Oh yeah, that's a little better.
That's so much better. Oh my god. Like, I enjoyed the darkness, but not that much, bro.
I can actually make out details now.
Now you could probably see tarot cards better.
Am I just supposed to follow Nick to, like, for the main path forward? Not Nick, whatever the fuck this dude's name is, Dylan.
I cannot believe you just put said
How long
dick
has this
in
guy
your
been
fucking
here?
mouth,
I'm
bro.
sorry.
Bro, we hated that bitch.
Large number bearing this legal off painting of Septimus Hackett holds his pride of place on the ledge's chimney column.
A long time ago. Long enough ago that it was okay to have an oil painting made of yourself.
I kind of want an oil painting of me now.
That'd be sick, honestly.
Right.
Do you want to keep looking or prepare for attack?
Prepare for attack.
Every dusk and dawn all through the summer. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger. We're here to lead the way. That mates for life.
Ooh, Emma came through the
the
hatch, so she's technically in the lodge right now. We should not forget about that.
2 months and you never learn the words?
Yeah, that's true.
Showtime, motherfuckers.
Let's kill the family. For mother.
How long has it been since we've seen Jacob? Damn.
Bruh, centuries. No, we saw him when we opened the gate.
Yeah, but they just like fucked off. I don't know how he got out of the house.
Bro, he's been out of it like this whole fucking playthrough though. Like,
I just wish I could tell you I'm
He's in
sorry.
hysteria.
More than anything.
I was been naked for like half this game too.
Right.
Fuck. I just wanted one more night together. Is that too much to ask for? Shit. Stop crying, you big baby.
He is such a big baby, bro. Yep, there you go. Sit down and cry. Yep, me.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. I know, Jacob. It's okay. Keep crying, buddy. It's all good. Everything's gonna be alright.
We can all relate to you, big boy. That was it. They just wanted to show us him crying.
For real.
What is going on out there? Should we go find the others?
No, we're safer in here and it's nearly morning.
What the?
That was so unnecessary.
That was a bit much, no? Wait. Because he'd just show right there, right?
Yeah, but I don't think we have silver bullets right now.
Let's go.
You're right about that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, Hampa has the silver bullets despite not having a gun for some reason.
Yeah, you know what? We probably should have kept looking.
What the fuck was that?
It's Caitlin.
Holy shit.
Well, we gotta let her in.
Well, we can't. The office door's locked from the outside.
There must be something
Thank
we
you,
can do.
Fear.
Yeah, but
Oh,
what?
wait, pause it real quick. Thank you, Fear, for the read. How's your night been? I hope. What game did you play? Here you go. Yo, raid from me. Let's go. I hope your stream went well. I'm always on Dead by Daylight. Oh shit. Well, I hope you liked the new event. I think it's decent. Alright, let's go.
Nick has a wolf skull instead of a fucking selfie.
What? Oh shit for Nick. Cause he's dead.
Motherfucker gone.
Oh, it's nice to meet you. Daisy, get, you know what?
Silver shells. If we can time it right, we can give them to her. She passes. If she passes.
Ella?
1 second. I need to put my cat in the front of just shut the Wi-Fi again.
Okay, do you mind if I just make a choice then, real quick?
Okay, let me see. Let me see what the choices are.
Well, it's a time thing, so I paused it. It's either we go down the beam or go out the window. I think we should go down the beam.
Yeah, go down the beam.
Come on.
Mike? Oh,
No,
that's funny as shit.
Have
That's
faith.
hella funny. Dude, my death slinger's dead? Oh, fuck yeah.
Run.
Run. Yeah.
Caitlin!
This way!
Where has he been?
Right.
What the fuck happened to him?
Over here, Caitlin!
God.
You don't have time for that, come on.
No. No, we go. No, we go. Listen. No, Caitlin, don't be stupid. Dylan's stupid.
Why did he just go off on his own? Investigate, right? Investigate.
Yeah, investigate.
They're trying to help us.
It's Silver! Hey, I'm here!
Load it. Oh, did she load it? Oh, it's not loaded.
Fuck you. I got you, motherfucker.
Did it not? It didn't turn back to human?
Dylan, I swear to God.
Oh, I feel like it's not dead.
No, he's not.
It would have transformed back.
You got it?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
I don't think you got it. It's twitching.
I mean, it's technically poison to them, though. Right?
Yeah.
Alright, let's kill him, quick! Shoot him now! Shoot him now! while
It's
we're
our
still
chance for
standing.
mommy.
Yeah. Yeah, inquisitive.
Yeah.
So what exactly happened 6 years ago?
There was a fire that wiped out dozens of people, and now there's werewolves and a ghost that roams the woods looking for her lost baby boy.
I don't think she was talking to you.
Which I've just put together is
Me?
Silas. Oh shit.
No, the girl.
It's a long
When the girl
story.
asked, and then the guy
No,
in the
it's
back
not.
answered.
There was a fire. Silas the wolf boy escaped, bit a bunch of your family. You failed to stop him.
Burn.
Ha.
What happened in the past doesn't matter right now.
It kind of does, actually. We need to know what we're up against, at least.
What we're up against is a feral boy turned werewolf who for the last 6 years has avoided being found. No matter what we did.
See, I don't like this family.
Every full
Kill
moon
him.
we were out there looking. Every single one.
They're trying to help people.
No,
Now
they're
the son
not.
of a bitch is finally here.
Bro, pause.
So what we're up
pause it,
against
Mike. I
is
gotta
my-
talk to you.
They're trying to end the curse so it doesn't hurt anyone else.
Okay, hold on, but you need to understand why the curse even started in the first place. Do you want to know why it started in the first place?
We don't
Because
know why it started yet.
Mike! Yes, we do! She's been explaining it the entire time. What he just said is what he just said. Basically, the woman, right? She was this Houdini person, right? And she had a son that was a wolf,
Yeah.
right? So, they've just been doing their business, doing their own kind of thing. Then this fucking family came along and burned their place and burned everything out. And now she lost her kid, and the
No,
kid
I know
bit
that-
all the family.
No, I know
So
that's all
technically,
there,
the
but
ones
we
that are
don't.
at fault is the family being dumbasses for ruining a fucking
No,
family.
but my point is we don't know what started the fire yet. Like we don't actually know the events that led up to the fire.
Nah, I blame the family for it.
The only chance to end this thing for good.
Oh
So
my
how do you
god.
even know where he is?
Pause
How the
it
hell are we
again,
gonna
Mike.
find?
Thank you, Otaku, for the raid. Hello. I am Mike's conscious in in the quarry right now. But hello everybody. Hello, how was your stream, Otaku? Oh my god, look at her face. She's so ugly, bro.
Damn.
What game
driving
did you
down
play?
the middle of the road.
Oh, thank you, Stevie, for the follow. Lots of fun. Fuck yeah. But she does not look phased at all.
Yeah, there was actually no fucks given. Oh. Oh.
Grab the gun. Yeah, grab the gun. Grab the
But
gun.
but no one's
Grab
driving right now.
I don't give a fuck. Grab the gun. Kill him.
He's on the roof. I can't reach the gun.
Forget that. Just get out.
Grab gun.
Grab the gun. Grab the gun. I can't not follow the name.
Alright, but that's fucking we're
Wake
listening to this
up!
fucking family.
I don't give a fuck. We killed this family. Nice. Yes. No! Why'd you save him?
What? What?
Mike! We're supposed to kill him, man!
Fine.
Mike!
Now, fine.
We're supposed to kill him!
You make it like I don't want to see happen
Where did he go? He kind of just disappeared.
He's got to be nearby.
I'm so disappointed in you, Mike.
We have another chance to get him
Are you
killed.
Crazy? Now Mama's gonna be mad. Mother's gonna be angry at us. Very angry at us. Very angry at us, Mike. She's gonna be so disappointed in us, and honestly, I'd be about it. But she's gonna be so disappointed in us, Mike. Are we there yet?
You're okay.
Been better.
Why'd she have a haircut now?
You know what? I don't know. I thought her hair was longer than that.
Over here.
It definitely was. She had it up in a
Alright,
ponytail
can
even.
we
Got some
shoot him
blood.
now? Oh no,
Leads through there.
her hair's not short. It's just tied up. Oh, thank you for the follow, Taco
What the hell
Munch.
happened back here? Whoa.
I was streaming bad art. Oh, shut up. I'm sure
This
your
is where
art
we
is
went off the
bad.
road 2 months ago.
Art's never bad. Art's always good.
You're trying to decide if you should shoot me in the head right now. Go
Fuck
ahead.
yeah.
That's what you want. I won't stop you.
Okay, say less.
What?
Fuck. Bitch, come on, man.
I thought it'd be a choice, honestly.
Normally, I'd have werewolf's blood cover our scent, but I'm all out, so we're high
Yeah,
risk.
don't listen to her. It was adorable art.
We could be
Unless
killed.
it's mine. Not his. Everyone has art.
You ready to end this?
This isn't the end. Yeah, bitter.
This isn't the end. Not for you. You've got a lot to answer for when this is over.
Ah, shit. Hold on.
Can we kill him already? Oh, did your controller die?
No, it opened up a fucking, my computer decided to open up its own fucking program for some reason. So I was tabbed out, so I just had to plug my mouse back into retab.
Yeah, art is never terrible. Art is always good. I bet you it was beautiful. Your art has to be beautiful. I can't believe you didn't kill him. Mike, I'm so mad at you. I already can hear Mother's. I'm so disappointed in you, Mike.
Damn, this place has got some uncool vibes.
Podcast didn't do it justice.
You don't know the half of
I have no idea what kills people
This is
anymore.
where I saw
I mean, we just had a guy leave an island that got him killed.
I thought she
for
was...
real.
I thought Max hit her, but then I was out here and she was something else.
Who?
The old woman, she was saying something over and over again. Oh my god, she was saying Silas.
No, that's impossible who you're talking about.
I saw her too, in the run tunnels.
It's Eliza Voorhees. Silas's mother. I think.
Robin?
You think?
You wanna go annoyed?
Yeah, annoyed. Yeah, annoyed.
You think?
Well, it sounds better than owner.
Wait, what does that mean?
He was a feral child she found and then kept in a cage like a goddamned animal. If Kaylee hadn't...
In a cage, huh?
Oh, shut up. Forget I said anything.
See? I told you I hate this family.
Really?
Kill
You're
them all.
still hiding stuff now?
You
Yeah.
blew half the head off my niece, Kaylee Hackett. One of the kindest, gentlest souls to ever walk this earth.
Why does it matter?
All she wanted to do was help that little boy. Locked in a cage by that freak show witch.
What does she do?
Just wanted to help him.
Travis.
I told you the family started it,
She
bro.
convinced Caleb to start a fire. It was just a distraction.
Are you not paying attention? He literally said that was
I
with the
was
hope
right,
of
wasn't I?
saving him.
Yeah, okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. They started it. They started it off. Kill him. Mother will be proud.
That's not what happened.
No. Because within minutes, everybody was dead. Never see Hayburn, Liza, whole crew. Kaylee managed to get Silas to freedom. But Caleb got bit in the process.
Yeah, we could just kill Caleb.
We could just kill Caleb.
No. We're killing Silas.
No, why? There's no point. There's no point.
Well, I mean, also killing Silas would cure everyone he's ever been, ever.
Listen,
But like, okay, but hear me
This
out.
is all
His
that's
whole
left.
family's already dead. There's no point
Jesus
in killing
Christ.
Silas. Like, there's
Everyone
no
else
reason.
that Silas has ever been in.
Bro,
Any sign?
Silas only bit them because
Negative.
he was scared, bro. He's just a kid.
They talk about, he literally mentioned that Silas has
I
been
never
biting
saw
people
any
all
of
through the
this.
coast.
Nah, I'm on Silas'
I didn't
side
even know
now.
this was here.
Save Silas. Don't kill him. Don't kill our boy.
The gay couple wants to kill Silas. Why don't you?
Well, too bad. Well, too bad. Silas is main priority. Plus, I like the name Silas.
This is cool.
Ryan? Shit. I'm sorry. That was...
Close. We must be close.
Did you both...
See it too?
Kinda wish I hadn't.
Same.
What'd you say? Get out?
Yeah.
Yeah, Silas would be a sick name. That's what I'm saying.
What is it?
Silas, the dog boy.
That must be it. Careful.
If we're being 6 years old, the paper has held pretty well for being on the ground in the wet rain.
Especially in the forest, like it'd be faded already, right? Wouldn't Silas be a white wolf, right?
Fucking Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
What's wrong?
What are you waiting for?
Shoot, you stupid girl!
No.
Yeah, no.
Laura!
Do it.
He's just a boy!
He's responsible for so much death.
Says you!
Do it!
No!
Give me the gun.
I should have killed you when I had the chance.
Kill him. Yeah, kill him.
This was your doing.
Fuck yeah, dude. Kill everybody.
You just ruined our playthrough.
we already fucked it all up. We might as well just end. Oh my god. I want to see mommy happy. Okay, I'm sorry. Look at her happy.
Thought you were clever, didn't you? I knew my boy would be okay with me watching over him.
She's not happy.
Forget what you tried to do.
I didn't do anything.
You all night, you know, and I'm not about to stop just because the night's come to an end. No. Whenever you hear a noise in the dark, a whisper from the shadows, the breath on the back of your neck, that's gonna be me. I'll be there. Now,
she's not happy.
I'll never leave you.
What did I do?
I'll never leave you.
Damn, that's crazy.
What?
Damn, that's crazy.
I didn't want to kill Silas. Bro, what the fuck? Thank you for the follow, Steven. Nah, bro.
Damn.
Nah, bro. I thought we made her happy by killing everybody. I don't understand.
We were at the end of the game and you threw it last second.
You didn't have to listen to me. I'm just your conscience, Mike.
This is my next playthrough. That family is our best friends.
Alright, bro.
This music doesn't fit still. Let's go.
Oh. Oh, the family is still alive. Bummer.
Of me as a white knight on his steed. Now you know how happy.
Or I'm gonna face off in a struggle for the gun.
And our good times.
Yeah, fuck you, Nick.
Without dollar want to spend. But how much, baby, do we really need? Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to
Love you, Abigail.
daydream believer and a homecoming queen?
Fuck you, Emma.
Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen?
I'm still trying to understand. What does she want from us? Like,
Maybe
we did
because
what she asked. We killed him.
It's probably because the other two were still alive.
Is that why?
Maybe. Yeah, I propose at least 2 more playthroughs. One where we just go with the family, and one where we go against the family completely.
Summer camp tragedy. Freak bear attack leaves several dead. What do you make of that, Anton?
I love that term, several. Like, the detectives are just, they don't even count the bodies. They're not like 1, 2, they're like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you know what? It's several murders.
You know, it might be a tactic, though. They can't give out that information yet. Sometimes detectives are notoriously difficult to solicit information from, especially when you go in saying, "Hi, I'm a paranormal expert."
I thought we'd done the whole Hackett's Quarry thing.
Not this Hackett's Quarry thing.
What was this, like 3 months ago? Old news, dude.
Anton, introductions first. We are Bizarre Yet Bonafide, the podcast of the paranormal. I'm Grace.
And I'm Anton.
And together, we explore the possibility of supernatural involvement in real life, everyday occurrences.
And that's exactly what they are, real-life, everyday occurrences.
With a shadow of spiritual, supernatural occurrences.
No.
Okay, so I hope you've got hat insurance, Anton, because I'm about to blow your mind.
Did you just ask if I had hat insurance?
Yes, it's responsible to insure those things which mean the most to you.
A hat.
Yes.
Okay, I know where your priorities lie. Go on.
Anyway, there actually is a real reason that we're coming back to Hackett's Quarry. There've been some developments, and I've sourced some information.
I remain skeptical, but I'm all ears. Under my hat.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Oh God, why? Why are you smiling? Stop it, I hate it.
Why? I had braces. I have to make use of them sometimes.
You do have very pretty teeth.
Thank you. That's something that a lot of podcast listeners might not know about me. So, it just so happens I've got someone on the inside. So today's episode is going to have a bit of a
Ella.
show and tell vibe
What's up?
to it.
You made it so the
Who do
gay
you know on the
couple could
inside-
not be
the inside
together.
of where?
What?
I did.
You know
You
someone
made
on
it
the
so the gay
inside?
couple
Don't we all have someone
could
on
not
the
be
inside? You know, an
together.
inner critic that
I
says,
did.
Our
"Doing
one
the
goal
podcast, no
of this
one's listening."
entire
You should listen to that
playthrough.
voice, Grace.
Okay, well, what I really meant is,
Listen,
let's call
right?
it an
Did I not
anonymous
tell you?
donation.
I'm just a conscience.
You know, we're not the
You
only
have to
ones
listen
who
to me, buddy.
flagged this as a bizarre situation.
It'd be a pretty
Someone
bad collab if I
actually
didn't.
They sent us a package.
Did you didn't open it? I don't trust anyone who listens to this show.
It's okay.
Oh, I couldn't wait to open it. Surprise!
Anonymous donation.
Okay, you've always promised me since day one of this podcast that if you could see true evidence, you will consider all options, right? Did you not say that?
I did say that, yes.
I mean, I know you
knowing for a fact that we would never see any evidence, I did say that.
Okay, well, we've been sent information and we need to decide whether it's bizarre or bona fide.
Okay, fine. Let's do this. For anyone listening at home, we are about to open a package from a mysterious person who listens to this show. If you are the one who sent us whatever it is, congrats, you got us.
Sorry, the tape is just really, there's just so much tape on
It's gonna be a head. It's gonna be Emma's head.
Do you have like a key I could like slice at it with?
No, I don't want you to dull my key. Just use your fingers.
But just give me your fucking key, Anton.
No.
Give me your fucking key.
Yeah,
No.
fucking Anton, come
Get
on.
your own key.
It's not like you lock your door.
Of course I lock my door.
What are you hiding?
What am I hiding? Do you not lock your doors?
No, I have nothing to hide.
You think that ghosts are real, but you don't lock your doors?
No, ghosts couldn't open my doors. They could walk through my walls, Anton.
Okay, you need to be more concerned with murderers.
So, remember
Man's
those
just
missing
speaking
hikers?
Yeah.
What if I showed you leaked photos from one of their cameras? Photos that show them at Hackett's Quarry, supposedly where the camera was found.
I would think that maybe they went there and they dropped their camera.
Okay, Anton, let me ask you real quick. What makes you drop your camera?
Tripping over a root.
That's opinions. I love the
being
Quarry.
jostled.
I think this is a great fucking
Uh,
experience.
In uneven
I'm excited to see
row of
ha-
cobblestones.
since
What about
we'll be
being
playing
murdered?
differently on the next playthrough.
If you
I'm
dropped your
excited to see
phone,
what
you wouldn't go
differences actually
missing.
are.
Where are they now?
Should we leave
I
the
don't know.
shotgun?
People get
on
lost in the woods
thing?
all the time. There's like hundreds of
What was that?
people a year. They could be
Should we leave
anywhere.
the shotgun?
That's not all.
No.
I don't think so. They didn't. She didn't
I'm
need it.
about to lay a little something else on you. My sources
They just
also
rolled
tell me
the
that
they just
their
rolled the shotgun
backpacks
shells
were
under the
found
door.
at the summer camp.
Really? Then okay. Well then, shouldn't this be public knowledge? Why aren't the Hackett's prime suspects?
Exactly my point. Maybe they would be if anyone knew where they were. Is it all just a big cover-up operation?
Yeah, that's where it falls apart a bit, in my opinion.
So, we've got to talk a little more about the Hackett family.
Right. So these guys are like the heritage landowners, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Their great-great-great-grandparents were trappers who claimed the land way back when.
They just claimed it?
Yes, they did. They put their flag on it just like the man on the moon.
The Hackett family flag, right.
Well, apparently when they claimed it, they found quartzite.
Quartzite?
Okay, I was hoping you would ask. Fun fact, every building in the whole of New York is made of quartzite.
That's not fun or a fact.
Most of them are, but I digest.
Digress?
It was a pun. They dug the quarry and hit great heights of success before Septimus Hackett, classic bad guy name, the seventh son of the trappers, the number 7, has great
this shit is going
supernatural
nowhere. I don't
powers,
understand what is happening.
closed the mine down.
Okay, so
Yes,
then they
it
only
feels
have
like
the
I'm listening to an
lands
actual
rip off.
podcast, and that's not a good
They
thing.
say